Welcome to Hometown Happenings. I'm Carol McCarthy here today with Sergeant Shane Richard from Becker County Sheriff's Office, and he is here to talk about a new system the Sheriff's Office is going to, along with other emergency agencies in the area. It's called the A.R.M.E.R system.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about why we're switching to this first off.
Why we are, MnDOT built out this system here a number of years ago, and initially it wasn't going to be available up here, or it was going to be quite a bit of time till it was available up here. So a lot of agencies went with kind of their own standalone system. Why we're looking at it now is that the system has been built out to this area. In fact, in our northwest region, there's only, I think, three or four tower sites left to be built. And so there's 327 tower sites around the state of Minnesota that we're going to get to use. So now that it's kind of here and arrived, a lot of agencies are looking to see, you know, if this is the direction that they want to go. We looked at the system and decided that, in fact, yes, this is something that we'd like to become a part of. So that's kind of why we've made the decision to go there now.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about what A.R.M.E.R stands for. It's an acronym.
Yep. A.R.M.E.R stands for the Allied Radio Matrix for Emergency Responders. And so basically it's a system that's set up to be used by law enforcement, EMS, fire. MnDOT uses it. Any government agency really can use the radio system.
All right. So talk about some of the steps that you're going through. We don't have it yet, but you're taking steps at this point.
The system exists right now, but we aren't part of the system right now. We need to do some infrastructure here to become part of that system. We need to update some dispatch equipment. In fact, there's some different build-outs that we need to do structurally within the courthouse for some new radio rooms and things like that we were going to have to do anyways that have to be built. We have to transition some rooms into, make sure all the wires are running and all that. Once that happens, we can put in a lot of that electrical equipment so that we can tie to the system either through like a microwave link or a fiber optic line or something to tie into that backbone of the system and then become part of the system.
All right. So is there quite a learning curve as far as officers go and maybe dispatchers go?
Yes. Traditionally, conventional radio systems that most agencies have had in the past is just you've got a repeater and that's your repeater, and any of your agency communications, you push that push to talk, it accesses your repeater, sends that signal out to whoever's listening to it, they push a button and talk back to you. Pretty simple. This system is what's called a trunked radio system, and what it is each tower site has got 5 repeaters in it. The first repeater is used for just data collection and transmission to know which radios are affiliated with the site. The other 4 are for radio transmissions, and they can be used for anybody. MnDOT plows, fire, EMS, law enforcement, and so it's kind of understanding some of how that system works. Then also within there, since those repeaters aren't ours anymore, you know, before there was a law enforcement repeater. Now that's just repeater A. Anybody can use that repeater, so it just grabs the next available repeater, kind of similar to how a cell phone tower site works. Okay. You don't have your own antenna at that tower site. Your phone just says there's the next available one. It grabs it. I can now talk on that. Kind of similar to the way that A.R.M.E.R system works. Now within there we've got what's called talk groups. We used to have channels, which was actually a radio frequency. Now we've got what's called talk groups. It's more like a data packet. And so the system recognizes which talk group you're allowed to talk in, if, you know, whether it be a law enforcement officer or an EMS or a public works or street department. It recognizes from your radio what you're allowed to be able to talk on. And there's a lot of statewide channels and some capabilities of the system that just everybody needs to understand how to use it and make sure that they're using it properly, being it is such an advanced system and you can transmit to anywhere in the state, that you kind of make sure that you're using the assets that you need to and not going beyond that. So there is a little more training involved that's typical with this system over a conventional radio system.
All right, and it's going to be obviously more efficient, as you had stated.
Yep, the problem with a conventional radio system is, like, we've got a fire repeater here. And if the fire departments aren't on a call, if there's no active fires going on, nobody's using that repeater. It's sitting there idle. Where this system now, you've got those 4 repeaters that anybody can use. So 4 officers can use all 4 of those repeaters. Or for MnDOT plows, they can access those other resources, where before we had 1 law enforcement repeater, and that's the only capabilities that we had. Now it gives us the ability to use more channels to be able to pull into more radio traffic over those airwaves.
Okay, so what type of scenario, can you give us maybe a scenario that has happened that this has been used, and some of the benefits to not only the Sheriff's Department, but when all those entities are involved?
One of the ones, when I went to some of the training down in St. Cloud at the last A.R.M.E.R conference, they talked about there was a paper mill fire down, I don't remember if it was Sauk Rapids or Sartell.
Sartell.
Yes, Sartell, thank you. And with that fire, they called in around 100 fire agencies to that fire. One of the benefits of this system is that there's statewide talk groups that give anybody the ability to come in and begin working in an area. Before, you would have had to reprogram all these radios to have them be able to talk at that fire. Now with a lot of the statewide tactical channels and the regional tactical channels and interop channels, you can have 100 agencies, if they're all on board on this A.R.M.E.R system, they can all affiliate to these statewide channels and show up on scene and start working. Wadena Tornado locally would be an example of one where that can be used, where you can bring in multiple law enforcement, fire, and EMS agencies. They don't have to have the radio channels for Wadena County or the city of Wadena. They can show up, go to a regional or statewide talk group, and start working as soon as they arrive, as long as they know which talk group they're supposed to be on. So it benefits both the users here to go elsewhere, and in the event that there's ever a major catastrophe here, to bring in other resources from the area to start working on a major event here.
All right, I'm visiting today with Sergeant Shane Richard from Becker County Sheriff's Office about the new A.R.M.E.R radio communication system. We're going to take a break and be back with more after this. Welcome back to Hometown Happenings. I'm here with Sergeant Shane Richard from Becker County Sheriff's Office talking about the new A.R.M.E.R radio communication system that the county is moving towards. Couple things, Shane, I know we don't have many minutes left, but is this, for people who listen to the scanner, people, professionals from the radio profession, but other people, is this going to change scanners, or will you not be able to hear this anymore on scanners?
You're still able to scan. It's going to be different scanners. Okay. Everybody who's got scanners out there are going to need different scanners, but no, it is still radio frequencies being transmitted over the airwaves, so it's just they'll have to buy some different, more expensive scanners. Okay.
Talk a little bit about where this started. I mean, not everybody has it yet. I know Becker County, it's going to be probably a good year before we actually are online with this, but where did it start and how many counties are left?
And we'll reference a map here, but in the state of Minnesota, all the yellow counties here have already gone to the A.R.M.E.R system, and it started down south and is building its way north to the northwest corner. The 2 green counties in the south are going to be migrating this year, and then also Polk. But next year, us, Kuchiching, and hopefully we'll see who else. But we're going to be building out the northwest corner of Minnesota. So really, I think it's a matter of time before pretty much everybody's on. Okay.
And you said by next December, by the end of next year, we should be up and running?
Hope that's our goal, definitely, to have everybody on by then.
Okay. So. And how much is it costing the county to get all this online?
The total project price on the high end, depending on if everybody gets every radio and we need to put everything in, was $2.1 million. A lot of that stuff, we're finding out that we've got the stuff that we need, and it's going to be less than that.
Okay, and the system actually is paid for in part by a charge we get on our phone bill, is that correct?
The entire system was built out by MnDOT from 911 fee that you see on your phone bill a lot of times. So the actual system itself is built from state funds. We've got to put some infrastructure in to become part of it so that we can access it.
Okay, very good. I know that there's a lot more that we can talk about, and maybe once we're up and running, we'll visit with you again and kind of get the behind-the-scenes look at it. But I appreciate you for coming in today and talking to me about this. Sergeant Shane Richard from Becker County Sheriff's Office, and Carol McCarthy for Hometown Happenings.